Use the graph to write an equation in slope-intercept form. Here's our graph, and we are asked to write the equation of this line in slope-intercept form. What we can do is we can first define what our slope is. And our slope, if we take a look, let's pick this point here, is rise over run. So our rise could be 1, 2. And if our rise is 1, 2, then our run is 1, 2, 3. So the slope of this graph is 2 over 3. Rise of 2, run of positive 3. And what is our y-intercept? Our y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And that is right here, which is positive 2. So since we have our slope and our y-intercept, writing our equation in slope-intercept form is straightforward. Y is equal to 2 over 3 x plus 2. Y is equal to m times x plus b. And things get a little bit more interesting when we look at this problem here. Our graph is shown as a horizontal line that's parallel to the x-axis, and it passes through 2 on the y-axis. So what is our slope here? Our slope, remember, is rise over run. So if we start at this point here, our rise is 0, and our run is 1. Or it could be 2 or 3, it doesn't matter too much. Right? So what is our slope? Its rise is 0 over run of 1. And so what is the slope of 0 over 1? That's simply equal to 0. So our slope is 0. And what is our y-intercept? That is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And that is right there at 2. And so if we're now going to write this equation in slope-intercept form, this graph in slope-intercept form, we have y is equal to 0 times x, which is 0, plus b, which is going to be 2. Y is equal to 2. And what does this mean? This means it does not matter what the value of x is, because x is not a part of the equation. For any value x, y is going to be equal to 2. When x is negative 1, y is 2. When x is 0, y is 2. When x is 1, y is 2. And what we get is this horizontal line here. Let's go ahead and move on to the last problem. Here we have our graph as a vertical line that passes through negative 3 on the x-axis. So what is our slope? Our slope, let's say we start here, can be a rise of 1, and the run, the moving side to side, is 0. Right? So our slope is 1 over 0. And fractions that have a denominator of 0 are undefined. So our slope is undefined. And the reason for that is the closer and closer the denominator gets to 0, the larger and larger this quotient becomes, right? Until it reaches infinity. And so you cannot divide by 0 because that would mean that this value here is infinity. We have our y-intercept. And remember, what is our y-intercept? It is where the graph crosses the y-axis. However, our graph is parallel to our y-axis because our slope is undefined. So there is no y-intercept. There is no b. There is no point where the graph crosses the y-axis. So the answer here is not possible. It's not possible to write the equation of this line in slope-intercept form.